Good morning, everybody. This is Christine Sheritz, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Module 4. If my voice sounds a little off, it's because I've been sick the last couple of days, so I have kind of a cold, but I still wanted to be able to talk to you about Module 4. So in Module 4, now you're going to be looking at some case studies. So for this particular module, we're going to be learning about phonics and high frequency words and so forth. So you have 2 chapters to read. You're going to be reading chapter 5. That's about phonics, high frequency words, and syllable analysis. And chapter 6 is about high frequency words, fluency, and extended reading. So that's what you're going to be reading. And then for this module, you have 2 assignments. The first assignment is on your discussion board, you're going to do another video where you are demonstrating a phonics, a syllable analysis, or high frequency word strategy for everybody else. So you're going to do it just like we did last week, but you're going to be modeling that strategy for your colleagues. So it can be about phonics, syllables, or high frequency words. And we want to make sure that we're doing research-based strategies that are appropriate. Your second assignment is a case study, and you're going to be doing 3 of these. So you're going to have a case study, and you have some information about a child, and I'm going to say up front, it's not as diagnostic as I would have liked, but you do have some information about this child. So you have a student, it's a 2nd grade student that's reading at a pre-primer level. They stumble across, and all this is on MyFire, vowel digraphs and diphthongs. They can read initial consonant sounds, and they guess through the end of the word. The student A reads the first 100 sight words from flashcards, but cannot recognize sight words in context. And they give you some more information about that child. So based on that, you're going to write a summary about your thoughts about the child. Just one summary, given all that information. Tell me where that child is, a summary about the student. Then you're going to write 3 measurable and attainable goals. So remember, think SMART goals. They need to be specific, measurable, attainable, SMA, time specific, SMAR, realistic, and time specific. I need to go look at my SMART goals and get the acronym. I'll send it to you. But you need to make sure they're very specific, they're measurable, they're attainable, and that you give a certain time frame for it, and that you have a way to evaluate those. For example, and those of you that are special ed teachers are great at this. So if I said the student will cite or will read, 100 sight words by, and then I give a specific date using, maybe you're going to use adult sight words. That's going to be very specific, but you got to tell a date. You got to tell how you're using it. What is the specific tool that you're using to measure it with. So you're going to have those goals, and then you have to have 3 instructional strategies to meet those goals. And then explain how you can integrate faith. Think about that. And that's it. So it's just a case study. And I wanted to show you guys a couple of things that as you think about, because this class is about research-based strategy. So I wanted to show you a couple of things that maybe you know about, maybe you don't, I'm not for sure. So I'm going to share my screen with you. And I'm going to go back here. So I'm going to start, this website is called What Works Clearinghouse. And this is a website that you can go to see specific interventions, and what does the research say about that? So I typed in accelerated reader at the top, and I put in the information about accelerated reader. So now I'm going to go over here, and I can see that the latest study is 2016. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to type that in, and I can download the intervention report. So I'm going to download that intervention, and I can see that there were 2 studies that met the standard. So there are specific standards of eligibility for what works. So there were 11 studies that were reviewed, but only 2 met those eligibility requirements that said that they were eligible to be considered valid and reliable. And so we can see that the comprehension and fluency. So we wanted to see, does accelerated reader help with those 2, comprehension and fluency? Now, the reason I picked this is because accelerated reader has been the bane of my existence as long as I've been in reading. And I know a lot of schools use it. And it just bothers me because I wonder sometimes if anyone's ever seen the research on it. So you can download the report, and you can go to What Works and see just about all different kinds of interventions. It gives a program description. You can see the research about it, and we can see the summary of findings. There were 2 research reports that met the criteria. One was comprehension, and it had mixed effects. So on that one, they said, did it help comprehension? Mixed effects. There were 2 studies with 265 students. The extent of evidence is small. Reading fluency. Does it help with fluency? No discernible effects. So those were the 2 studies. You have one that had mixed effects and one with no discernible effects for fluency. Gives you the background of accelerated reader. It gives you the program details, the cost. You can see the delivery method and the summary of studies. And then it has more information. So the first one, it had mixed effects. In the 2 studies that reported findings, the estimated impact of the intervention on outcomes and comprehension were statistically significant positive effect. And the second one was a substantially important negative in effect. So you had 2 studies. One was positive, one was negative. So putting those together, they had mixed effects. You had one study that said, yeah, it helped, and one study said, no, it didn't. That's interesting. And then we have rating of effectiveness, no discernible effects, and small. So, and then down here is all the information with all the research about it. So I wanted to show you that because I think that's important that you know about What Works Clearinghouse, because as future leaders in literacy, it's up to you to kind of help decide when we say something is research-based, is it really research-based? The other thing I wanted to show you is something that I just have started reading is, and it's not new, but I've know John Hattie's work, but I didn't know that all of this database was online. So here we have John Hattie's Visible Learning. And I know this is kind of small, but what you can do with John Hattie's Visible Learning, this is where he took all of this research and meta-analysis, and he took this global research database and he said, what is it that's really effective? And you can go here and you can see what is effective and what's not effective. One of the reasons I went down this rabbit hole is I was talking to someone about retention. Okay, is retention helpful? So and I've always read research that said it was not helpful. So went down here and I'm going to retention. And then I'm going to try to make it it bigger so you can see. So here's retention. I'm going to click that on. And if you can see this, what it says is that they did 10 meta-analyses, 339 studies with over 27,000 students, and the weighted mean, so here's our mean, and a robustness score of 4, so 5 being the best. So when we look at that, it has a negative 0.24. So what that means is in a mean score, think of 5 being right in the middle. So if you had 0.5, that means, yeah, it's going to help. You're right in the middle. If you have 0.75, that's even better. If you have 1, that's extremely good. 0.25, it's going to help just a little bit, not a whole lot. But if you have negative, this is negative 0.24. So this shows that all the research shows that retention is not helpful, but yet we still do it all the time. Retain, retain, retain. So don't understand why we do practices that have absolutely no research, but we do. So you can go back and you can look up different strategies and things that we do. We have student, homeschool, curricular, teacher, and so forth. So for example, we're talking about this week about phonics. So I can go down here, and does phonics instruction help? Well, look down here, and it has a 0.48, which means 5 is right in the middle, that it says a form of instruction has a potential to accelerate. So if it's done correctly, it can accelerate. So we want to do that. What's even stronger is phonological awareness. That was like 0.73. So what I like about this one is that you can go and you can see all of the different interventions and so forth, and really what are those top interventions for students with learning disabilities. 0.74, that's high. Of course, we want to do that. Let me see other ones that are high. I'll give you this website and you can look on here and see. Teacher clarity is one of the top ones that are high. That is, are you explaining to your students what it is that they're wanting to learn? That's really important. So I wanted to show you that so that when you match a strategy, you're using a research-based strategy that's appropriate. So that's all for me today. I hope y'all have a great day. And if you need anything, just give me a call or email. Bye-bye.